guys, welcome to my new home for the moment. The beautiful beach, the forest. I'm so grateful that this place exists. It's like a dream time fairy tale. Wow, just in time for sunset, but I'm here to answer the questions for the Nomad tag. Hey beautiful souls, thanks to Louie's YouTube channel, Adventure Time Louie, with her recent video called 10 Years Total of Living the Van Life, My Family's Story, #Nomad tag. I was super inspired when she asked fellow nomadic travelers to answer 10 questions she came up with and to share their unique story about being a modern day nomad. Since I've been living as a nomad for the past 12 years and have recently started my YouTube channel called Sunjoy, which is less than a year old, I found it quite fitting and perfect to take part in this #Nomad tag. Also, what a perfect way to introduce myself to all the new beloved souls subscribed to this channel. Thank you for watching, and may you also be inspired.
I've made this video because I wanted to share our perspective of living nomadic lifestyle, how we've done it, and how it's given us freedom from the rat race. I then want this video to help inspire people to create a chain of videos where people will answer these same 10 questions and share their unique story. So many people are struggling to fit in the box that society has fit us into, and it sometimes can seem impossible to go against the grain. I want anyone out there looking for another way of living to know that you are not alone and that there are thousands of ways you can do it. So if this video inspires you to do so, hop on the camera on your phone or on your laptop, it doesn't have to be fancy, and then answer the tag questions that I have in the description, post it to YouTube, and then add the #Nomad tag to the title. You can also tag me somewhere in the description or in the title so that I can see the video. I'm really excited to hear everybody's story.
Hey guys, hey everyone. Question number 1, who are you? So my name is Suryananda. It's actually in Sanskrit, and in English it's Sanjoy, which is my name on this channel. And yeah, I've been 12 years non-stop traveling, slowly making my way around the world. Yeah. And the plan wasn't 12 years, it just sort of happened. I'm on this spiritual journey, it seems like. The plan was 2 months when I left from where I grew up. And yeah, I just started to travel. Question number 2, what is your main mode of travel? So the second question, what is my main mode of traveling? I am with my backpack, my lucky thumb, and my legs, and there's many ways that I move around. That is the main way, with hitchhiking. But sometimes, yeah, you know, I just take a train or a bus, plane, a boat, but primarily it's my feet and my thumb. Question number 3. When did you start living this lifestyle? For the third question, when did I start living like this? Well, I started about 12 years ago, a little bit more now. And I started actually in the Middle East. I went to volunteer, and yeah, how that happened was I had a normal, I guess you can say, life in the States. That's where I grew up. And, you know, studying and working with a house and a car, and everything was amazing. I was working like crazy though, 3 jobs at once. And one morning, this question popped into my head. It was this question of, if my life were to end tomorrow, would I be satisfied with the way that I've lived my life so far? And I felt like everything was perfect. Just traveling was something that I would love to do, and then I thought, like, how would I travel and sustain myself? So then I figured volunteering would be the best way, and I kind of just trusted in spirit. It could have been anywhere, and I thought, okay, what do I like to do? I love art. So I just looked up in Google volunteering with art, and yeah, I just told myself, okay, the first place that shows up, the first country I trust, I'll go there. And then the first thing it said, volunteer in an art gallery in Israel, and I thought, Israel, is this real? Like, I only heard two things about it on the media, on the news, something not so nice, but somehow I trusted, and yeah, and that's when it all started.
Question number 4. Where have you been, and what are some of your favorite places to be a nomad?
So question number 4, where have I been? And some places that I like being a nomad. Well, I've been to the Middle East. I was quite like almost about 4 years about in there, in Israel and Jordan and Egypt, throughout Europe as well. I was also in South America, but those were the main places where I was traveling as a nomad. And I'm currently in the end of the world in Europe, as they call it, on the west coast. I really love this country. Portugal is so amazing, and I feel like here it's a really nice place for nomadic traveling. Especially on this beach, you have the Camino Santiago passing through, which is this trail that passes through many different countries, France and Spain and so on. And yeah, you just pass through magical places in nature. So there's a lot of backpackers that are traveling through here, and also in Israel. That's where this all started. So they also have something called the Shri Israel. So it's kind of like the Camino, and it's in their culture to actually walk the trail. So I would say those places, at least in my book, have been amazing for traveling the way that I travel.
Question number 5. Why did you start living this way?
So question number 5, why did I start living this way? I kind of already answered a little bit of that, but basically in the States, when this question came to me about if I would be satisfied with the way that I live my life, if the world would end the next day, yeah, I just trusted in spirit and felt like, wow, I really would love to travel. And so when I was in Israel and volunteering, I did about 3 volunteer jobs, and yeah, they were quite diverse and really interesting. One was in a backpackers hostel, and they were working actually with the Camino, this trail that is for 4 days to the Sea of Galilee, but it's also a lake. They call it the Sea of Galilee. It's called the Jesus Trail because that's where apparently Jesus walked in water. So I was there for a while in this backpackers hostel, and I met so many backpackers from all over the world that came to this hostel to walk this trail, and just hearing the different stories about their lives and the adventures that they've been on, it kind of just sparked something in me that, hey, I would also love to travel around, and I love nature. It's my medicine. So this is, yeah, pretty much why. And also, so after I did a few volunteering jobs, and there were some different experiences, but I swore that I wouldn't volunteer again, and I just wanted to be free, kind of in my own time. And there was something in Israel called Walk About Love. So it's basically like this group that walks all of Israel in 3 months. It's a small country. Like, I grew up in upstate New York, and it's actually smaller than New York. It's 6 hours probably to drive from the south to the north, and 1 hour east to west. And so this group would just walk about 20 kilometers every day, and a truck would take your bags. And there was about 30 of us from around the world, and then we would just walk in like deep nature and get to this beautiful place in the middle of nowhere and set up camp, like put our tents or sleeping bags. Some of us would just sleep outside, make a fire, and everyone would cook dinner together, and some people would be playing music, and it was this whole vibe. And it's when it sparked in me, like, oh yeah, I could actually live this simple life, like just have a tent, hitchhike around, walk around, cook simple food on a fire, That's pretty much when the idea was born.
Question number 6. How did you start living this way?
Question number 6, how did I start living this way? Well, yeah, I just basically kept on traveling. Um, the plan I had for 2 months to travel in the Middle East just kept on going. And after I experienced Walkabout Love, there was also another experience called the Rainbow Gathering, which started in the States, but I've never been there in the States, so my first time was in Israel. And it's kind of like the Walkabout Love, but you're just in one place for 1 month. And actually, every country is a bit different how the rainbow goes, but it's usually the same. In America, it's thousands and thousands of people, but it's more intimate in other countries. Like for some smaller countries, it would probably be like 200 people, the family. And when I went to my first rainbow, that was just amazing. I really fell in love with this way of life, and just living in nature for a month, everyone being together, sharing food and songs, and just living from the Native American prophecy from the Hopi tribe. But yeah, like how we used to live in tribes, what has been forgotten in society. So just after my first rainbow, it just kind of continued on. I was just living in nature and just meeting different friends that I would stay at their houses. It really started off slowly, and yeah.
Question number 7. What have been some challenges?
Question number 7, what have been some challenges? Well, there's a few. Um, First off, like I've been living like this for some years, so I've kind of accumulated some memorabilia, let's say. Like usually people travel and then they'll go home and, you know, drop some things off, but I've been ongoing, so I have some things that are pretty meaningful to me with traveling. So I would say the weight. I have a big backpack, I have a big house, but it's still minimalist, like compared to someone living in a house. So that sometimes is a bit of a challenge, but I get a good workout, so I'm really just grateful. And I usually go slow in my life, so it's really not a problem. Sometimes it is a bit of an intense deep work with how people see me on the outside with all my things. They're just like, what? How can you have all this stuff and where are you going? And it's quite funny actually. But yeah, I usually love going like deep in the nature, so I have everything that I can just be free. Like even I'm traveling with a 5 liter bottle of water. And yeah, in the cities, like I usually try to stay away from the cities. I'm not so much a city person. I prefer the nature, but if I have to pass through the city, it's like, yeah, the people are really like, whoa, what are you doing? Why do you have this stuff? Because everything is available in the cities. But I usually just have everything on me, ready to go any moment. I kind of joke that I have like the post-apocalypse backpack for when the world ends. But yeah, when the pandemic happened, it was perfect to have everything. But that was also a challenge because yeah, I couldn't really hitchhike and I had everything with me. And I remember I had to go 70 kilometers away. And yeah, I had to walk with everything, like the Camino, which means the path in Spanish. So walking the path, and I went super slow, and people had so much fear at that time. So even more so, people were looking at me with fear at times. But yeah, but I also do play music, and this is how I sustain myself. So yeah, I would kind of transform that challenge into a gift at times.
Question number 8. What was something unexpected that you learned or did because of living this way?
The next question, what are some things unexpected that I learned living this way? Wow. Well, or actually, with some things that I did because of living this way was, yeah, being deep out in nature and feeling so sustainable and free. I'm really grateful for that because I've been doing a lot of inner work because of these years of living like this. I've actually had the time to kind of just go in deep and learn about who I am and what I would love to bring to this life and being in this human vessel, this divine vessel. And wow. And I've learned that there's so many angels out there, even if there's a lot of people that have fear and maybe not understanding this way of life. I've definitely encountered some miracles along the way, and I learned that spirit is everywhere and in everyone, and at any moment your life can just change. And if you're having a hard time, there are angels out there, so definitely never give up because there are definitely some challenges. Yeah, and some things that I've done. I remember like when the pandemic happened, I was with some friends in this really big city. My friend had a camper van, and yeah, I was there for about a week just busking, playing music, because this is how I receive income to keep on traveling. And I remember she just said to me one day, like, do you want to just go to the waterfalls a little bit more up north? And for sure, like, I definitely was ready to get out of the city, even though I found like a nature space where I could put my tent by her camper van. So I was kind of living in both worlds. But when we left, we were with another friend as well. We went to the hot springs and waterfalls, and literally 2 days later, the whole pandemic happened and the city was shut down where we were, and we were so lucky to get out of there. And so we were just at this gorgeous, beautiful nature with the waterfalls, and I remember that I like really wanted to cleanse because I'm really into that path. Like I was doing a lot of Vipassana, which is this meditation and silence. So I really wanted to go in silence. I really wanted to do this fasting, water and dry fasting, which is dry fasting is not even drinking water or eating. And I just really wanted to clean my temple and just keep on with my meditation practices and yoga. So I remember that when I was doing this, my friend actually ended up leaving because she was in the car and didn't feel comfortable in the parking, and I was like deep in the nature. So she also was feeling active and to plant trees, so she had left, and I just stayed, and I had this whole big house for myself in the nature. And I just remember when I was dry fasting, I had so much time on my hands because I wasn't, focusing on eating, and I mean that does take up a lot of time. But I remember just going 3 hours walking up this mountain, these big boulder rocks, and just going deep into the wild with no one. And I remember finding wild horses, and it was just so magical, this vibe, and to know that this exists and this planet is so beautiful. And there's so much that we don't know about. And yeah, there's so many stories actually that I do remember that this was the strong thing that I did, just being able to be free in nature and be in nature with no one actually.
Question number 9. What are the pros of living this way?
Question number 9. What are the pros of living this way? Well, to be free, I don't have to pay rent. I have my spaceship, I call it, which is my tent. And yeah, I can just move around wherever I feel like, to different places in nature, sometimes by the sea, sometimes by the forest, by different lakes or rivers. Yeah, I can, and just be able to do my inner practices that I love to do, like focus on self-love, self-care, which is a big part of my life. And yeah, basically to be free and to be able to save up the energy to share my abilities, like playing music. Also, I'm giving massage at times. Before I started the music, I was giving massage for a living. So yeah, just to have energy to be able to share the good vibes and healing energy with those that need it.
Question number 10. What advice would you give someone who wants to live a nomadic lifestyle and is just starting out?
And question number 10. What advice would I give someone that would love to live this nomadic lifestyle? Well, definitely have trust and faith in spirit, I would say. And trust in yourself. Go light at first as well. Go light and enjoy the process and believe that this life is possible. And as well, I would say if you would like to prolong this lifestyle, find something that you like to do. I remember when I first started out, I met this amazing sister, a friend, that she actually took me to my first rainbow, and she inspired me with music. She was living this life since she was 2 years old because her parents were in a camper van and traveling like this. And even though she was a bit younger than me, she felt just so ahead of her time. And wow, she really inspired me. And she just said, hey, if you want to keep traveling like this, find something that you like to do and spend time with that. And I remember when I was a teenager, just starting out, I felt the love for guitar. I really wanted to play guitar. And I remember my mom was like pretty strict and just saying like focus on school. So I forgot about it. So when I started to travel, I instantly had like all this time on my hands. And I felt like, oh yeah, playing guitar. And so I remember I just bought my first guitar. It was like even a child's guitar, and I didn't know anything, but it was like playing on it like a toy, just going with the sounds, what sounds nice. And I would write a lot, so I would just kind of turn what I was writing into lyrics and just playing like 2 chords and turn it into a song. And then I would start busking, like I would go to the street. This was in Israel, so I went to Tel Aviv and just as an experiment to play, and people really loved it. They just were like, wow, your voice. And from then on, like in rainbows, there's a lot of rainbow songs, and really simple chords. So I would learn from people, okay, what are these different chords? And the rainbow songs we like sing a lot, so I would just already know the lyrics. So that was a great way to start to play music. And yeah, I would kind of suggest that anything that you love to do, kind of just spend time with that, because you'll have more time in your hands, and then you can just sustain yourself. Well, thank you everyone for joining me today. I'm so happy I got to record it. The last moment with a beautiful ocean and the sunset, and hopefully I'm still visible. And thank you so much, Louis, for suggesting this modern day nomad tag. I feel it's like my first Q&A on this channel. I actually started it almost a year ago, so I'm really happy to actually share a bit more of my life, because I always say I have this eclectic life, but maybe some people don't really know how I'm living. But pretty much I'm a wild child. I feel like a feral cat, and I do prefer being free and at peace in the nature. So I hope you've been inspired today, and thank you all for sharing the love and light, and may you be inspired to also live as a sovereign being in this planet, because yes, we are home, and food, clothes, and shelter should be for free for everyone. So good luck on your journey. I love us. And welcome home.